Hello there, welcome to another episode of World of Tanks with Engaging Titan, and I want to talk about the M46 Patton. I've had the M46 Patton unlocked for, I think, 3 or 4 months. I've probably had it sitting in my garage for a similar amount of time, but I actually didn't play it until quite recently when I started going back to play my tier 9s, and I realised that I think the Patton wasn't being included. I was initially didn't include the Patton, and I think this is possibly my first game of the Patton. I could be wrong, but I don't see any, should we say, looking back through my videos over the period that I showed up any games in the Patton. This is not the stock configuration of the Patton. This is the penultimate package, the 90mm gun, top turret, top everything else as far as I can remember. 90mm gun's pretty good. I actually really enjoyed this tank, but I did save up my XP. It's become my habit. Save up your experience when you're doing a grind. Don't should we say, skip elements of the grind in the lower tiers, because stock grinds in the lower tiers are relatively short compared to the tier 9 stock grinds, and if there's any stock grind you want to avoid, it's the tier 9 stock grind, because you're usually using a tier 7 gun at tier 9 with a very slow tank, poor engine and poor mobility and poor turret armor, and then you have to grind out 40 to 50,000 XP using this configuration. This is to be avoided at all costs, and usually if you are playing through the grind, by the time you get to tier 9 you will have a reasonable pot of free experience saved up. Now the 90mm gun's a good performer, as you can see here. I'm just coming out the corner and snapshotting it. It's pretty reliable in the snapshot, which of course brings out some of my worst habits, because I tend to over rely on the snapshot when I can. The other thing about tanks that I enjoy is, of course, that I tend to overextend myself. I tend to have more faith in the tanks than justified, and it usually takes me a while to learn the caution to actually get the most out of the tank. I would say that if you probably find yourself grinding stock tanks at tier 9, especially if the stock gun persists past the first package, then to go for mobility as soon as you can, because usually with the stock gun you can't face anybody frontally. You need flanking shots, and you need therefore to use the mobility of the tank to find yourself in positions where that gun will actually work. I'm about a third of the way, I think, to unlocking the final package in this tank, so I haven't unlocked the final gun. I know it's one of these peculiar situations that you come across with the American tanks, where the 90mm gun it's got slightly better penetration. Well, it hasn't. I think with the base armor piercing rounds, this thing has 3 to 4 millimeters better penetration than the 105mm gun, and with APCR it's the other way around. The 105mm gun has 3 to 5 millimeters better penetration, but obviously the 105mm gun will have a bigger alpha and slightly slower rate of fire. But my memory of the American 105mm guns, they got pretty decent rates of fire anyway. So reasonably fast mobile tank, good at hold down, good gun depression, fast, snappy shooting gun. I like it. Doesn't have a huge amount of hit points, so that's something to be wary of, because that's what I find with the American medium tanks. They are tough enough that you could often take them into a gunfight against a heavy tank and win. Might be much you left, but you can do it, and that tends to make me overconfident anyway. And I'm inclined to do this more often than I should we say, and especially early in the game, when I should avoid that sort of confrontation at all costs, because early in the game you can't afford to be losing the hit points. You need to hang on to them till later in the game, and don't go in on tanks that are full hit points. Go in on tanks that have a third of their hit points left, and more sensible stuff like that than I frequently do. And yes, this is a case of do what I tell you and not what I do, because what I do frequently doesn't work. I really like the fact that it shows the numbers for what you're doing now. We've got very little assisted damage, but then we're not the most forward tank in our group. we have done quite nicely on the actual damage done. Although things are looking a bit grim for the team. This could be one of the rare cases where we send more than enough tanks to the town in Lakeville, and we're not going to win the game because we're having trouble clearing these guys out. I think there's 2 of our heavy tanks that are just probably too far back because their guns probably aren't good enough to really be effective at that range, depending on what kind of heavy tanks they are. What's behind me? Given the current thing that was all the new available Russian tanks, I'd say it's a reasonably good guess that the majority of the heavy tanks in the field are actually probably Russian. And long range sniping is not what Russian tanks do, so these guys should be, I think, a little bit more aggressive. Well, there is, I suppose, the Japanese super heavy, and he's probably going as fast as he can because, you know, they don't actually move these things. Now, I think that was a big loss there. The first snapshot against the T-54U1. I should have really made sure of that shot because it was a one-shot kill, and it would have been worth getting him out of it. That couple of seconds extra, because then it would have made capping on our side viable, because we would have gotten 3 into the cap in time to be competitive against, or at least force a draw against the enemy tanks, whereas now we've no chance. We have to actually interrupt the cap because they've had 3 tanks in from the beginning, and they've had it in for 10 or 15 seconds longer than we've had. So if we don't interrupt the cap, we're not going to win the game. But overall, I think, whatever about the game, the M46 Patton is a really nice, enjoyable tank. I mean, I was getting to enjoy the Pershing when it had the top package, and I think this is actually a better tank. Definitely more fun. So that's it, folks. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a like and a thumbs up. Feel free to comment. If you've not already done so, please subscribe. I will catch you all again soon. Bye for now.